All right, here we go. Today is the 26th episode of Advanced English Lessons with me. Advanced prepositions or prepositional phrases and Madagascar. Here we go. I'm going to start out by asking you, how high can you jump? And then I ask you, well, let's think about this. Did I really jump that high and touch the ceiling? Or is something funny going on here? And if you said something funny is going on here, you are correct because this is an upside down house. And although I might not be able to jump that high, I can stand on my hands and I can walk on my hands. Can you? And if you can, then you could do this. But as you see, my son right here is walking on the ceiling. Of course, this is the way it really is. All of the things are bolted to the ceiling, which looks like a floor. So we're going to start out actually kind of easy here, but some of these words people don't know. So we're going to go over. I'm just going to ask you if you know what they are. Well, let's start out with this one. If something is like this, like I just mentioned before, it's upside down. Now, what do we say in this case? There's a couple things you could say. You could just say regular. It certainly is. But if something were upside down and you wanted to ask me to turn it the correct way, what would you say? And the answer could be right side up, right? So right side up, upside down. Let's look at these ones. What about this? When you sleep or you're on your back or you're on your belly, we could say face down, face up. Pretty easy, right? Pretty easy. How does a crab walk? At least most crabs, not all crabs. Most crabs walk sideways, right? They walk sideways. And what about me right here? My clothes, if you look at them, they are what? They are inside out. And what is the opposite of inside out? It's not really outside in, is it? Because inside out and outside in are actually the same thing. If the inside is on the outside is on the inside. So you could say right side in or right side out, I suppose. So let's just go real quickly. Let's make sure we know these. A spider walked on my nose when I was sleeping, face up. He accidentally put his sweater on, inside out. The bat hangs upside down in the cave. The man is lying. Oh, format changed a little bit here, but that's all right. We got there. The man is lying face down on the beach. The crab walks sideways on the beach. Make sure the painting is hung right side up. All right? Easy stuff right there. Let's get into our first story, which entails in Texas, a lemur named Julian that had escaped was eventually apprehended after eluding capture. For more than 2 weeks, a local resident successfully trapped Julian using a live trap on his boat, where he initially encountered the lemur on April 1st. Julian, who is native to Madagascar, is now under the care of the local animal control authority. His owner has a 10-day window to reclaim him. Otherwise, Julian will be relocated to a specialized lemur rescue ranch. Fair enough, right? Here we go. Now we've got some geography questions. These geography questions here are based on several lessons that we've done. We've covered all of these. Different stories have occurred in different places. So let's just start with one. Here's the list of all of them. Some of them are states. If they're a different country than the USA or Canada, it's just the country. And because then I'm doing states and provinces, I say which country it's in. Number 1 is Alaska. Number 2 is Greenland, which is Danish territory. 3 is British Columbia, Canada. Number 4 is Quebec, Canada. And number 5 is Hawaii. Number 6 is California. Number 7 is Texas. Number 8 is New York. Number 9 is the Pacific Ocean. Number 10 is Mexico. Number 11 is Florida. And number 12 is the Atlantic Ocean. All right. Next up is those vocabulary words that we had in our story, you can go back and look at those, push pause, read them, try to understand them by context. It's more important to understand them by context. We're going to match the words to the correct definition, and then we are going to use them correctly to fill in the blanks. First off, we have apprehend, elude, encounter, reclaim, and relocate. To capture or arrest is to apprehend. To unexpectedly meet or come across is encounter. To move to a new place is to relocate. To avoid or escape by speed, cleverness, or trickery is elude. To recover something previously lost or taken, reclaim. All right? And now let's go ahead and fill in the blanks. The clever fox managed to elude capture by hiding in the dense forest. During his hike, he had a surprising encounter with a wild deer. After the flood, the family had to relocate to another city. He went to the lost and found to reclaim his misplaced backpack. The police were able to apprehend the escaped criminal after a long chase. Now, Madagascar. Where is Madagascar? Make sure you know where Madagascar is. Which color is it? It is in red, the red square, right? Sometimes people get Sri Lanka mixed. I mean, they look similar, right? You've got a large peninsula kind of sticking out. I don't know if you can consider that a peninsula. It's so large. The south of Africa, the Horn, I guess, Cape, but still you've got an island off there. They are both tropical, so there are some similarities. They do have unique wildlife. Obviously, this is down here is going to be a lot more it's cold. I mean, you've got penguins down here. This is, we talked about last week, Indonesia and Papua New Guinea over there. So let's go ahead and answer some questions here. Which sentence uses apprehend correctly? Go ahead and read them. He apprehended a new language quickly. The detective was determined to apprehend the suspect. That one sounds good to me. And next one is, what does relocate mean? To move to a new location. Where would you most likely encounter wildlife? Certainly none of those. How about on a remote hiking trail? Reclaim is best described by which situation? To ask back for something that is yours? Sure. All right, now let's go ahead and read something about Madagascar. This could be a listening comprehension or reading comprehension. I don't focus on the vocabulary words here, but there are a lot of challenging vocabulary words that the idea is to really just try to get as much information in context. So, Madagascar is a unique island nation located off the southeastern coast of Africa. Known for its incredible biodiversity, Madagascar is home to thousands of species of plants and animals found nowhere else on Earth. This includes the famous lemurs, a variety of chameleons, and numerous unique bird species. The island's diverse ecosystems range from lush rainforests to arid deserts, each supporting a wide array of wildlife. Madagascar's rich culture reflects a mix of African and Asian influences, evident in its music, language, and traditional practices. Despite facing challenges like deforestation and habitat loss, Madagascar remains a vital hub for environmental conservation and a fascinating destination for ecotourists and researchers alike. Now I've got some questions for you to follow up with that. Where is Madagascar located? Go ahead and read all those. Northeastern, southeastern, northwestern, southwestern, and the correct answer is the southeastern coast of Africa. That's both knowing your geography and knowing your directions. It's funny, some of my advanced students actually get those tripped up on those. So it's funny. Sometimes those easy particularly easy things that months. Have advanced students don't know their months of the year. So here we go. What is unique about Madagascar's wildlife? What are these are true? It has many species that are found all over the world. That's not true. It has no unique species. That's not true. All animals in Madagascar can sing and dance. That's not true, but lemurs sure look like they're dancing when they're walking. They also run sideways. They kind of do this gallop. Amazing. I do show some videos in my class. I show some videos of the crabs as well. Um, it is home to species found nowhere else on Earth. And that's true. And you get that when you get these islands. I mean, all of Australia and Sri Lanka and Madagascar and Galapagos, these islands, especially when they're kind of distant and large enough to have entire ecosystems. Yeah, you get unique animals that are like no other. Which type of ecosystems can be found in Madagascar? Rainforests and deserts is true. There definitely are no glaciers or underwater cities. There might be underwater cities. How do Madagascar's cultural influences reflect its history? You can read through those real quickly. The correct answer is through a mix of African and Asian influences in its music and traditions. And name 2 types of unique animals you might find only in Madagascar. There were 3 mentioned, and there may be more that I didn't mention. I mean, I'm sure there are many snakes and all kinds of things specifically from this lesson. If the task is to recall information, it would, of course, be the lemur. What else? And that would be the chameleons. Of course, we have chameleons here in Thailand. They're different than like in Mexico, the ones that have the curly tail. I think a chameleon is just a kind of lizard. I don't know if by definition it's a lizard that changes color. That's what I think of it as. Our chameleons here change color. They're green. They get turned into bright orange heads and bodies. Those are similar to the ones you see in South of America and Mexico. Madagascan chameleons. I don't know. I don't know exactly what they look like, but that was one. The other one was unique birds, exotic birds. There's many different kinds, of course. And why is Madagascar considered important for environmental conservation? Well, what did I say there exactly? I mean, we're talking about deforestation is a problem, and you could come up with your own answers as well related to uh, preserving wildlife. I mean, obviously, deforestation is bad for the trees, but it's bad for the home. Those are the homes of the animals, so that's why that can become a real problem. Another one could be the illegal pet business. I asked my students about that, and that is actually our final thing. We'll go into this debate topic. And oh no, that was the other debate topic. So let me jump back here. Uh, I do have 2 lessons, an easier version and a more difficult version. This is the advanced version. My first question was for my easier students is just, would you want a pet lemur, and is it okay to have an exotic animal like that? Of course, there are laws against it, but let's just say you could work around that, and then it's a debate. It's a debate topic. I want to see you express yourself. Whatever position you take, I'll take the opposite. You can argue for both ways. Some of them said it's cute, I want it. Um, obviously, I'd come back with some sort of, oh, it's bad. The animals are going to die out or something, and it's not going to mate if you have it as a pet. But you can always come back with, well, what if there were a natural disaster in Madagascar and all the lemurs died? But if we had some lemurs as pets around the world, we could, repopulate the world with them. So there's obviously an argument on that side. And then I showed like the sugar glider. The sugar glider looks like a baby lemur almost. They've got the big eyes, but they're also like a flying squirrel. And they've got those like wings, not real wings, but they can glide. And they're pets. I don't know. They might be somewhat endangered, somewhere protected, but they're legal. I think they're legal here. I don't know. I see them all the time. Or I mean, I see them. I see them. And some of my Chinese students had them too, or knew of students, friends who had them. So that just engages the whole topic. Is it okay to own exotic pets as own exotic animals as pets, uh, particularly the ones that are endangered or just protected. Uh, and I think there's a fine debate on both sides for that. And then, do you think ecotourism benefits or harms Madagascar's natural environment? Again, you can take both positions. I mean, on one side, you could say any tourism is going to damage uh, wildlife. I mean, boats dock and destroy coral reefs, or just litter and using more energy, so they're burning or they're uh, having to clear forest to make way for whether it's a hotel or what. But ecotourism, of course, is when I would say there's a minimal impact on the environment, but it's pretty hard to have no impact on the environment. Uh, but it does generate income if you can provide some sort of enjoyable experience. And I think sometimes that's the difficult part. Like here in Thailand, we've got some beautiful islands, but once people discover them and the boats start docking, and just the water's clear before you can see all the fish, everything's so beautiful. But then once it becomes a popular tourist spot, it's just destroyed. I mean, even not just the litter and the people and the lights and stuff, and but it's broken down. I mean there are delicate parts of the ecosystem and everything that can be damaged. The best ecotourism I've experienced is the elephant sanctuaries, which are here in Chiang Mai. I talk about them all the time because they're what's cool about them is that, yeah, it's a better experience than riding elephants. When I first came here, I rode the elephant, and I noticed it. I mean, they've got this hook, and they're just like spiking it on their head, and you find out later, like in these elephant sanctuaries, that they're rescued from this sort of tourism. And okay, cool, good for the animal, everything. And elephants, big brains, very social animals. They're definitely intelligent and have emotion, and to not hurt them is obviously what people want, but people like to ride elephants is the point. But actually, it's not as fun as going to these elephant sanctuaries and playing with them, going in the mud and splashing. Some people claim even that is like you're disrupting their community, which could be true for wild elephants. But these are the elephants that they rescued from these tourist industries. Again, obviously, there has to be money. They're not going to just give up their elephants if there's not some sort of way to earn money. So the point is, ecotourism is good, but it has to be enjoyable, and if it can be more enjoyable than the alternative, is best case scenario. And then, of course, the second part of this debate would be, well, how does the money that's generated can somehow go back into the uh, conserving the wildlife? Perhaps, I mean, you can. There have been a lot of animals that have been through human intervention and building sanctuaries that we can repopulate. I think there's several animals that have been endangered and brought back. I don't know, maybe the Galapagos turtle and pandas. I'm not sure, but still maybe protected to some degree. So sure, yeah, we can do it. Ecotourism can benefit, but it's part of the debate topic is how could it help Madagascar's natural environment? That might be more difficult, but at least you can see the benefits are outweigh the harm. And that's that. So I will see you next week. Enjoy. Bye-bye.